Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Virtual Pool 4 Online. We're here this Sunday night. I can't even remember what date it is. Is this the 6th of March 2022? And we're here for one more match in this year's VP4 2022 Virtual World Straight Pool Championship, race to 150 in the one loss side. There are only 6 players left in this tournament, and 2 of them are going head-to-head tonight. Only one is going to survive. We have MC Clarkey from England and Tommyy from Germany. Now, I've been in the lobby most of the afternoon since I got home, on and off. I've been looking in, and this is the first time I've seen both of the players in the lobby. They've arrived in the last 20 minutes. Getting a little bit of practice in preparation, and I've lost track of what. Good afternoon to Steve. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, you're fine.
Right. I was just saying we've got 6 players left in this tournament, and I'm just of the opinion that these 2 guys, one of them has to step up tonight if they're going to influence or put any influence on the other remaining players. You weren't here for the last match, Steve, but that's twice in a row that Bedhead has run out to win his match. He had his high run of 74 in his last match to run it out and win it. So he's making a statement. But these 2 guys are sort of outsiders, but well within the capabilities of causing an upset, depending who either of them are going to meet later on. Well, they're scheduled to meet either Bedhead or Hairpig in the next round. But I just feel that one of these 2 guys has to up their game and find a higher level if they're going to be contenders at the end of this.
Yeah, they definitely are not playing as well as Albin or Bedhead, so I agree. They're going to need to up their game if they're going to compete at that level.
Now, I spoke to Albie on Facebook earlier on. I was asking him had he been in contact with Stubb, because I'm off all next week. I've got my last remaining holidays of this financial year, so I'm not at work at all next week until a week on Monday. And he said he's sent proposals. He actually sent a proposal for tonight, which would have clashed with this match. He also sent a proposal for next Friday and next Saturday, and he still hasn't heard anything from Stubb. Welcome to Napnicker.
Yeah, well, that's nothing new with Stubb. Stubb will sit and wait around, and then when he finally does send something, then he wonders why everybody's pissed off at him.
Good evening, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
So, I think this is a match that's hard to call. One of these players could go on a run and pinch it, but I think it's so close to call. I couldn't say who's going to win this.
Yeah, I haven't seen. I don't recall seeing McClarkey play much straight pull, so I have seen him play 9-ball. I mean, I don't think either one of these guys is a straight pull guru. I mean, I know Tommyy isn't. Out watching him play before, so yeah, it's hard to say. I don't know if people are learning or trying to get better. I never want to pigeonhole somebody as like they're this. I mean, maybe these guys are getting better, but they're certainly going to need to get better to keep going forward in the tournament. I mean, one of these guys is going through, but they're not going to last long if they don't, up the game.
Well, I know when I've been watching Matt MC Clarkey, he's had a few occasions where he could have got a better run, but he's the thing that's let him down is that break shot. He's left himself awkward a couple of times and not been able to pull it off, whereas players like Bedhead are managing to do that, and therefore the runs are higher. This is what I'm talking about, that one of them has to get on a line tonight where they're going to make some sort of impact or some sort of statement on their prospects for. I think either of them could cause an upset, but if they go one track minded to just try and outshoot whoever they're going to play later in this tournament, then I don't think it will do themselves any favours. I think they still have to use good strategy. They're capable of doing it. It's well within them. But that tight control of the cue ball is the big question, and there are better players in this tournament with better, tighter control of the cue ball than these 2 at the moment.
Yeah, well, it's not just the cue ball control; it's also
pattern play and everything.
The right way of thinking, the right kind of patterns, and I mean, when you don't get on a break ball good, a lot of times that's just because you didn't plan out how to get on it good. Because if you've got to a shot that is easy to mess up the position on, and that's the shot you're using to get on the break ball. Well, that's not a very great shot. Then I mean, yeah, it's going to happen even to good players where they have to actually perform there and do something with the cue ball that maybe isn't that easy. But in general, in straight pull, you should be able to come up with a pattern at the end of the rack that gives you known quantity where you're going to get on that break ball almost for sure every time.
Yeah. Good evening, Bedhead. Good evening to Dwight.
Hey, Bedhead.
IQ2 from Canada.
Hi, Dwight. So the winner of this match is going to play the winner of Bedhead and Hairpig.
Yep.
Which I would call Bedhead the favorite in that, but Hairpig is, he's certainly he's kind of a student, a pool, and I would imagine he's getting better as he goes through this tournament. So I would say he's definitely got a chance to win that match.
Yeah, the unknown quantity in this tournament is Stubb.
Well, I mean, Stubb. The problem with how Stubb plays is that he's got some real upside to some of the things he's doing, but when you don't play straight pull the right way, eventually you're going to have a match where you're going to struggle, and against the players left, that's going to be a loser. I mean, Stubb could beat anybody one given match. The question is, can he win 3 or 4 tough matches? And I don't think he can do it playing the way he's playing.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're in the room. Tommy's arrived. I've started my clock. And suddenly my... I knew what I shouldn't have done. I went and set my start-stop as my alt button for this clock as well. Hang on a minute. I think that's me fixed. Yep. Well,
Cobra's here. Hey, Cobra.
Good evening to Cobra. So, Tommy's been put in. Now, did you see that link I posted to you in the PM the other day? Did you see Acero's break?
Yeah, that was a wonderful break.
Yeah,
and you know what he did? I'm going to give everybody the secret that's listening. What he did was a little different. And honestly, in real life, I've never tried breaking the way he did. Now, the position that he broke from and the line he took and the amount of the corner ball, the 5 ball, was all pretty standard. But what he did that was different was, the normal thing is you hit it with right English, but he hit it with draw in right English. Now, you could say, oh, why add complexity to it? Why add the draw? Well, what the draw does is it makes the cue ball curve. And, that's going to change the angle it comes in and hits that 5 ball. Now, you could say, well, I could just move the cue ball over and get the same thing. And that may be true. But I think you can get a little lighter hit on it doing what he did. Anyhow, anybody can go watch it. It's up on YouTube. It's in your stream right here. It's one of your streams.
Yeah, it's on the channel.
Yeah, so anybody can go watch it. But I just thought it was interesting the way he played it. Obviously there's some luck in the break shot as far as how the rack reacts. But
it's always
was a beauty.
Yeah, it's always the case that you're always trying to get that corner ball to come back to the pack, because if you're heading up to the right corner or the left corner when you're breaking, your only line of defence really is if that ball does go back into the pack and it doesn't leave anything easy to start you off, and it worked out for Acero that break.
Oh yeah, well, that was wonderful.
Welcome to Rob. Welcome to Trent Sawyer. There's a name. Oh, that's the spam bot again.
Good evening, Hugh.
Oh, Rob's in the stream.
Hey, Rob.
Well, we're off and running.
Yeah, I think we'll see who gets things rolling first. I mean, I think in this match, since it's pretty even, it's going to be key who gets running first. And he's already got himself where you don't want to be stuck on a ball.
Well, that's not. I mean, that
I don't
isn't
think that's
bad.
any good.
I don't think he's left anything easy. I don't think he's left anything easy.
Well,
Let's
yeah,
have a
the
look at that one.
10 ball, you'd have to banana it.
Yeah, one ball doesn't go. Yeah, it looks safe to me.
It's not a bad shot.
Good evening, semi-pro.
I think this is just an opportunity to bump the 1 and stick the cue ball on top of the 6, which is what he's doing. But he did not get the cue ball on top of the 6, so he gave up the 1 ball. Yeah, that was a delicate little shot. It was hard to get the speed right on that. But I don't think he hit it with any English. I would have hit that with a little bit of right English just to get it spinning back towards the 6 ball. It allowed you to hit that 1 ball a little thicker and control the speed a little better. Yeah, he's good. He's got the 2 ball, I think. Well, maybe he doesn't. I don't think that ball goes. Wow. And that quick it ended where he's, and this is the nature of straight pool, you coming up with a shot isn't guaranteed when you go on into balls.
No, that 2 is definitely not going anywhere.
Of course, there's ways to increase the odds. Well, he can cut the 3 ball.
But he loses control of the cue ball hitting that 3.
Yeah, but it's there. The problem with the 3 ball is that the scratch is close, but I think it'll hit the long rail. He's going to cut the 15 ball. Which is a reasonable shot. I mean, I would expect him to make this.
Good recovery. Who the hell's that phoning me? Nobody phones me. Just give me a minute, guys.
Well, he's probably going to leave the 3 ball for a break ball. The 3, the 13, the 14, the 9, the 4. I mean, all those balls will work one way or another, but the 3 is probably the best one.
Yep, I agree with that.
And he's got himself in trouble again already. That shot that he played was okay. It's just, you got to know how you're hitting at 11-6 and how you're going to come up with a shot, because it was just a given that he probably wasn't going to have a shot up table with these other balls, so he needed to have a shot on either the 11 or the 6, and he just didn't control that well.
Correct. And what I tell people is, well, you got to know where the white ball's going.
Well, in that case, you need to know where the 6 and 11 were going too. I mean, I would have shot that shot, but I wouldn't have hit the 11 ball the way he hit it. I probably would have tried to hit it thicker. I think he's going to try to shoot the 2 in the side pocket. It's either that or the 3 up table. I mean, I think the 3 up table is an easier shot. The side pockets aren't that big at that angle.
But if he does that on that 3 ball, he goes over and knocks out the 14 and 13 for break balls.
Yeah, but there's other balls. I mean, or you can make a break ball. I mean, the 11 ball you could break on, the 4 and 9 you could break on. There was other options. I mean, at that point where it's like, safety's tough, and he's shooting that 2 ball, which is tough. I would have rather shot the 3 ball just because I think it gave him the best chance of staying at the table. And then he'd have to figure out his break ball. I mean, you don't want to have to shoot a break ball, but when you get in that situation, I think that was the best play. But that's also another reason why you should leave multiple break balls if you can. It's always good to leave at least 2 break balls, because sometimes you end up having to shoot one.
It is me.
Right, I'm back. Well, nobody phones me at this time of night, but it was the next door neighbour phoning. She'd actually baked a bacon and egg pie yesterday. And I had 2 big slices of it, and it was lovely. And she just phoned saying that she'd baked an extra one for her son, who's just visited tonight, and he doesn't want it, so she's donating it to my cause, and I'll collect it from her tomorrow morning. That's the good news.
Well, that was a good shot there because he controlled moving those balls. I mean, he didn't have to move them, but it made the table simpler, and there's no risk there.
Yeah, I'll dispose of it, Mark. Don't you worry. So where have we got to?
Well, Tommy gave up the rack, and now McClarkey, he's got a good chance to make something happen.
Steve, it's MC Clarkey. It's not McClarkey. I've called him McClarkey for 20 years till he finally told me it's MC Clarkey.
Well, we could just call him Clarkey or MC then, because MC Clarkey that's too long.
I've got a few little additions that I've added to. Oh, by the way, I haven't tested the replay since I messed about with it the other day, so it's going to get tested tonight at some point. I've tried to get rid of that continual Zoom thing, so whether it works or it doesn't, I don't know, because I haven't tested it live. But we'll find out.
Well, he's managed to get himself funny here, because you don't want to go from 2 to 3 to the break ball. You'd much rather go from 11 to 3. And he's going to have to go 14, 11, 2. Well, he's actually shooting a 2 now. Uh-oh.
Yeah, well,
now he really got funny. He's on the 50-yard line here.
Yeah, you said it, Steve.
I mean, he had a chance there to get on this 14 good. He's going to shoot the 3 ball, which I think is a smart play.
Well, he's dead straight.
You just wanted to get off and leave yourself an angle so that you come off the rail and come straight up the table and you're on the 14 ball. That 11 is sitting in a perfect spot.
Now, why not pinch a little bit here and then just cut it into the side and break it from the side of the pack? Looks a good enough shot to me if you can pinch an angle.
It's just hard to get. It's hard. There's a very small spot to shoot this on the side. I'm not even sure it goes by the rack, to be honest.
Oh, now that you mention it, it doesn't. I've just looked. Yeah, you're right. No,
but getting on that would be tough. I mean, really, the only shot he's got to have a chance to get on this 14 ball is probably playing rail first on 11. I mean, the other option here is shoot the 14 and drop back and leave yourself an angle on the 11. That's a reasonable shot, too. And that looks like that's what he's going to do.
Yeah,
now, that was a well-played shot, because what he did there was he didn't try to finesse it. He just said, I'm going to bring it back hard. So the key with this shot is you don't want to come straight back into the rack. You either need to go forward or backwards.
Yes, he did go straight into the pack.
He went straight in, and he got lucky to have a shot, because you can just get the ball just stuck right in the rack. You need to create some angle into that rack so the cue ball will run off. Now, he happened to hit the ball in the rack in a way that it shot off to the side. But, when you come straight, that's how you get stuck.
Yeah, you're asking for trouble doing that. Ideally, you're trying to hit any of the 2 corner balls either side and then hope you get lucky. But you're more likely to get lucky doing that than you are going straight into the back of the wall of balls.
Well, in that situation, it was a corner ball, but it doesn't have to be. Like if you have if that 11 ball would have been offset like way over towards one corner, and you drop back and you hit the second ball from the corner, you still have an angle. It's the angle that's the most important thing.
No, it's not a quiche, Mark. I know the difference between a quiche and a bacon and egg pie. In fact, I'll get video evidence of it tomorrow and I'll post it and I'll let you see that it's a bacon and egg pie and not a quiche.
He's calling it a bacon egg pie, but it's
Yeah.
a quiche.
I showed you what a killie pie looks like. I'll show you what a bacon and egg pie looks like. Now, what's he on here? The two. Oh.
I think that's what he's going to shoot.
I think it's Hobson's choice here. He's got no other choice. He's got a dodgy 5 ball, very dodgy over the 3.
Yeah, well, the 2's not a difficult shot. That's not a ball you should be missing. You know, some people have trouble with those shots visually when they're close, not just in VP, but in real life. But if you understand the visualization of them, they're really not hard. I've got a buddy that he shoots shots like that. Like, I mean, it's like I'd have a hard time remember him even missing one, and I've probably played, you know, a few thousand hours of pool with him. So if you have trouble with the ball close, you're just looking at it wrong.
Oh, Frat's the expert was saying, why not the 5?
Why not the 5 for what?
Like when he was playing that cut in the 2, he was the only other shot that was there was the 5 ball, which was even more dodgy than the 2.
Yeah, I don't know if I looked at it or not. I can't remember that long ago. It was 30 seconds.
Yeah, it was straight up the table, and you know it was a no-no. But he's looking good here the way these are set. This is easy picking. Is this set of balls?
Yeah, well, so far McClarkey has been the more savvy player. Yeah, I mean, he's got the 15 ball is obviously the best one, but the 3 ball's a reasonable break ball. It's a little closer to the rack than I like. The 9 ball's reasonable. Watch out. Wow, you do not want to roll balls slow speed into, you know, like where you got 3 or 4 balls sitting close together like that. That's how you get stuck. I mean, he could have easily been stuck on top of a ball.
Well, he has. He's really created a little bit of a problem here.
Well, he's going to shoot the 6, but I mean, you really don't want to shoot shots like this in straight pool. I mean, this is not the preferred way of playing it. I mean, there's times when you got to shoot up table, but those length of the table shots with the ball in the middle, those are missable.
Well, I'm worried about how he's going to get to this 1 ball.
Well, that's a little puzzle. I mean, you know, it goes if he gets another side of it. So does the 14. He just needs to get on the other side of it. And
see, this 3 ball would have been good, but the 9 ball's going to stop the spin up into the 1 ball, or you know, a little nudge. I don't think you can get there.
The 9 ball is the easiest way to get to it, you know, but you got to be down lower.
Yeah, that was always that'll do it. He's created
another play. Try to get lucky.
Yeah, he's got another slight problem as well. Now he's blocked the 15 ball, and he's gave himself the 14. So now he can get rid of it.
Yeah. Now, if it was me, I'd be leaving the 5 ball to get on the 15. He's got a little angle on his 14. He's going to be a little thinner than he wants. He may rub the 15 here, but it shouldn't go too far. Okay, he didn't rub it at all. So, yeah. Now, I'd probably look to shoot the 9 down table, come off the end rail, and shoot the 5 in the side, or come all the way back down and shoot it in the corner. He may soft hit this. He likes to roll the balls.
This is going to have to keep rolling. I think he's all right. No, well,
yeah. I mean, if you're going to play for the side pocket, you're a lot better off going to the end rail and back. It's easier to control the speed than play that soft shot.
He's trying to just jab off this, but the angle's not great. He might end up straight.
The way to shoot this shot is low and left and just sort of kill the cue ball.
See, he's ended up pretty much straight
See, if he would have put left on that and thrown it, he could have hit it thicker and maybe been an inch or two further to the right. You got to use what the balls do to your advantage. I mean, that inch or two can make a big difference. Well, he's got the 2-5 combo. That's what I'd be shooting.
Well, he's gone straight in the 6. Well, he's got a slight angle. He's going to try and get a hit, I think, either from the 10 or the 6.
You got to be careful here. You can get stuck if you're going to try to move the rack. He may not yet. I mean, the 11 ball is sitting real good to move balls. Well, he's coming back trying to get to 6 again, which he did the same thing. He's 2 straight.
Right. So if he goes square in the 11, he's going to obviously hit the 2, I would think. Well, he's trying. No, that was a fatal move there.
That was the problem with that. You know, if you don't have enough angle, you just can't get the energy and you get stuck. I mean, that was pretty predictable.
Yeah, and I didn't think he was going to do that. I thought he would have looked at the 11 and at least tried to get some sort of little hit in the 2 and maybe nudge something else from it. But,
well, the thing is he didn't have to do that. He had some other options and ways to get to that 11 ball or using the 1 ball. And the thing is you got to know in your mind that this isn't going to work, or this is going to work, 20% of the time and 80% I'm screwed. And when you get that situation, you got to say, hey, look, don't panic. There's still ways to get to the rack.
Hang on a minute though, but what an effort at safety there. That was poor.
Oh, well, he just, the 3 ball he just gave up the 3 ball and took a foul. I'm not sure what Tommy's looking at. I mean, the 3 ball's obviously the shot.
You're way off. I say you're way off this time, son.
I mean, the 14-2 combo's okay too. That's reasonable. I notice guys don't like to shoot combos in this game, and I think it's just because from not practicing them. Because if you're used to shooting combos, that 14-2 combo is probably as easy as the 3 ball was.
Oh, semi-pro's threatening to join us in Discord. Well, the run was what, 24? I think it was.
27.
20, was it a run of 27? All right.
No, I think it was 23 or 4 because I think he had 4 points or something.
Yeah.
Point.
Right, what about that 14? Does it go anywhere? It goes up table.
Yeah, and shooting up table may not be the worst thing in the world. Well, that worked. If you're going to come at it like that, that's what you want to do, is a lot of spin to drive through it.
Now, 9 balls at the head of the pack. 7 ball would do it. 14 balls in the pack.
Yeah, the 9 ball or 7 ball. I like the 7 better because I like it when the object ball's a little further from the rack because you control the cue ball better off the rack. But either works.
Well, if anybody watched Hughes Countryman beat the record, that's about where he shot from every time where the 7 is.
Well, how did you know that, Rob? Have you been able to watch the video?
I watched several times when he made his run before he got the big run, and he broke from about where the 7 is every time, every single time.
Yeah, I think he had 2 or 3 runs of like 400 or something before he eventually got the high run.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I've watched him play straight pull at Derby, and he's not really conventional. But look at this mistake. Boy, that was a bad mistake, getting where he's going to have to shoot his break ball. But yeah, Jason, he hits the break ball way harder than most people. I mean, he's such a good shot maker. Now, this angle again, you need
could run
to
up
not
table.
come in that 9-ball square.
Yep, could run up table and scratch.
Well, there's a good chance of scratching in the corner.
There it goes. He's okay.
Yeah. Actually, at that angle, he might have been okay hitting a 9-ball square, because chances are you're not going to hit it square enough to stick on it. One thing about this VP rack is it comes apart really well. I mean, better than most racks in real life, because one of the reasons because the balls are so clean. When the balls are cleaner, they spread better. I mean, really, I think VP it's really optimal for making high runs because the rack comes apart so nicely.
But they're always clean.
Oh dear.
Well, they've got some dirt on them, but it's just not very much.
Well, the run ends in 12. That's Tommy's first response. So now
It also depends on which room you play in. I don't know if you guys realize, but the balls are different dirtiness depending on the room. Did you guys know that?
Yeah, well, I'll never know that, Steve. I'm never in any other room. I hate the lighting in Loch Lomond. I don't like the garage for the reasons I've already explained about the lamps sticking down in the top of the table when you're watching it from the TV point of view. And I prefer the lighting in this room.
You see that over, Steve? Mark asked, do you regret changing the pocket size?
Oh yeah, I've already said that.
Yes.
I should have left it alone.
The loch has shiny balls. Yeah.
Well, Bedhead, it's actually it's not the room. I misspoke. It's actually the table. So the ball sets go with the table. So if you bring the hog pen table and you put it in the hard times room, you're going to get the hog pen balls, and the hog pen balls are really dirty. I think the cleanest balls are the billiard balls, and then the snooker balls are very clean, and I think not quite as clean as the billiard balls, and then these are probably the third cleanest balls, ones from the hard times table. For sure, the worst ones are the hog pen.
That's the one with the filthy table as well, isn't it? It looks like 35-year-old cloth that's on it. Beer stains and vomit and everything.
The balls are dirty, so they're going to throw a lot more than these balls would. So when you got some sort of, throw shot you're trying to play, you can throw a lot more in the hog pen or with the hog pen balls.
Well, this situation for Tommyy is the pattern that quite a few of these matches have taken, where, Tommy's always, every time he comes to the table now, his objective's immediately to get rid of that deficit, and every time he doesn't get there, Matt's going to just sneak further and further away.
Well, I'm going to make a dumb observation, and that is that Clarkie hits the balls a lot softer than Tommyy does. And I think in this game, if you're not really an astute straight pool player, which neither one of these guys are, if you were going to have an attribute, hitting them softer, I think, is going to be better than hitting them firmer.
It gives him better control, doesn't it, Steve?
Well, I think, less craziness, less chance. The pockets are bigger when the ball's going slower. I think he's trying to do more with the cue ball than Tommyy is as a result of, trying to play. When you're trying to hit the ball slow, you really got to think about speed and rollout.
Well, 9 ball's going to be it, I would imagine. Unless it's the 3.
Yeah, the 3's not so wonderful. 1 ball's too far over, because the 3 ball's in a great spot if the 1 ball was a little closer to it. I mean, the problem with the way these guys are playing is they're just not getting a key ball. You need to have a key ball and then, a few balls before that, understand how you're going to get to it. And if you don't think that way, then you get yourself in situations where it's hard to get on the break ball. I mean, he should be able to get on it here, but this is not like guaranteed he's going to get the angle he wants.
Well, does he hit this plain ball, or does he tweak this a little bit with right?
Well, he's got to have right on this. He's got to have a fair amount of right, unless he can go around.
Well, that is... No,
well, see, that's like without putting right on it, coming across at that angle, his speed had to be perfect, which it pretty much was. I mean, but that makes the spot so small when you're that close to the 9 ball going across the line.
Too much bottom on it. I couldn't get the words out quick enough.
You saw that coming, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you have to do the stun draw, the controlled spin, and he's digging right down in the cue ball. You knew where that was heading at the angle, because he was only going to clip the pack. The meat of the pack wasn't taking that spin off the ball, so it's only going to head one direction, up table, and ended up in the usual spot.
Well, I mean, the bottom line in this match is that I don't think either one of these guys is going to have a lack of chances, because the way this is going is they're going to run some balls and then give up the table. So, neither one are ever going to be out of this match. They're going to each get a lot of chances at the table. Yeah,
but there's a little bit of pressure on Tommyy here. I mean, he's got balls in play, and I think he needs to finish this rack to stay in touch. He doesn't want to be
capable.
He doesn't want to be gifting free goes to Matt if he wants to keep this deep into the match.
Isn't his high run over 40?
Tommyy, I think, is it 48? Is it 48 or something like that? Somebody will check.
So, the thing with a guy like a Tommyy where, he pockets balls well, he has some idea where the cue ball's going, but he doesn't really play that good of patterns is, if the tables start laying right and he gets rolling, he can run 50 balls. And, he's not going to do it that often, but he's capable of it. So, this match is far from being over. I mean, I like what McClarky's doing a little better, but I mean, he's making a lot of mistakes too. There's no guarantee of who's going to win this.
Well, why not take the 14 and just kill it if you can, and take one of those balls up table on the right side there? I don't know whether he can hold it.
He needs to get that 8 ball out of the way, because it's blocking balls in that corner pocket.
Yeah, but it can, he still has to get rid of those other, like the 3, he's knocked the 3 out of the way now, so.
See, I would have played shape on the 5 and 8 on that shot. And if I got on the 5 real good, I'd shoot it. Otherwise, I shoot the 8, because, he's going to work this out, but that's taking a chance going up and running into those balls like that he didn't have to take. I mean, it wasn't a controlled run, and it wasn't like he knew exactly what was going to happen there. It's one thing to bump a ball. It's another thing to, roll up at that speed, because you just don't know where they're going.
Right. So the 6 ball's the break ball. So he's now going to deal with these 3 balls up table, but I would have liked to get rid of that 5 and maybe left the 3 to get to the 6.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, I would be looking to come down table like right away.
That
I would
5
be
balls,
a 3 ball here to come down.
Yeah, 5 balls no good sitting there.
Yeah, 3, 5, 7, 4 probably is what I'd be looking at.
Yeah, see now he's
He's okay here.
I think the main thing here with this shot is he can draw off the 5, and he's going to leave himself a distance so from this break shot unless he moves it.
No, this is perfect because he hits the 7 and then he comes off the 4, hits the 4 and goes off the long rail and rolls right into position. He's going to shoot the 7 in this one corner and the 4 in the other upper corner. Oh, he got too straight. He may have been trying to get straight. I would have left it an angle so I could come off the other long rail. This is okay. I mean, he's probably going to have to. He's going forward. Oh boy. You know, that was fine, but I mean, the fact that he's rolling down the line he wants, that was great. He just got scared of the speed and left it long. I mean, that was actually a good idea coming around the corner because the cue ball is rolling on the line you want, which is one of the tenets of playing good shape is you want to roll the cue ball on the line you want for the next shot, not across it, because across it, the speed is hard to control.
Right, well, he's clipping the 14 and the 4. And he's coming back off the pack here, but it's the...
Yeah, this is just a little bit of draw here.
See, that's a stun draw where it doesn't fizz, and you're unlucky not to be on something. He's okay.
Yeah, and that's you know, that's what he did. He played the stun draw. It came back a little more than he wanted, which, you know, I mean, that's going to happen. I mean, nobody likes being on the end rail, especially in real life, but... it's going to happen where you get stuck up on the end rail like this sometimes.
What the hell's Matt doing in the stream? Get yourself back in there. He will leave Q and triangle off 5. You should be in there concentrating rather than bothering about the stream.
He's got a good break ball right off the start to work around.
Well, he's got 2 good break balls. The 3 is really good, and the 13's really good, and the 11's good for a side pocket break ball if you have a ball to get on it, which he doesn't right now.
Well, I would doubt that these break balls will still be there because he's just done that. He had to get a breakout one way or another.
Yeah, that's not the worst thing in the world to do. I mean, you know, really good straight pull players will try to avoid doing that, and they'll try to play for a ball where they can break the balls where they're not going to cluster or go into other existing break balls. But, you know, that said, sometimes you have to. I mean, at these guys' level, you know, it's not – he need to get those balls broken apart. So that's an acceptable shot.
So, where is he? Tommy's 3 points behind, running 19. So, everything's going good at the moment to get rid of the deficit and then get himself a lead.
Well, this is what we were talking about. I mean, you know, they're both capable of making runs in the 40s and 50s. I'd be surprised when he pops off a really big one. I think the pattern play isn't good enough for it, but... You know, in this match, you start running 40s and 50s, and it's going to do you right.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying. You know, one of them has to. I keep saying it. There's somebody in this match going to have to pull off a run here. Whatever one it's going to be, we haven't a clue, but it's time. It's time they did.
Okay, he's going to get to the 2-3, which I think was important to get to those earlier, and. I don't know if he's going to break off the 5 or the 15 or the 3. He's got his choice of those 3.
That will probably also determine the match. The first one to make the big run will probably be the one that wins.
One thing I've noticed is, though, that even when there has been a ball at the back of the pack, I think most players are fairly reluctant to leave that as a break shot.
Sure. Well, you know, looking at this, like, you know, 13 to the 5 to the 3, okay? Or, you know, if you want to play off the 15, well, I don't think you can because he's going to shoot it. But if you wanted to play off the 5, then, you know, the most likely ways to get on it are the 13 or the 3. since he's going to shoot the 13, if he's going to play for the 5 ball, he's got his choice here. He can either use the 5 or the 3 for the break. They're both good. But at this point, you got to be thinking about how you're going to get to him.
Well, it's easy to get to the 3, isn't it? I mean, you come back off the 8, roll the 3 in, leave yourself the angle on the 3, and you've got a break shot.
Well, from this angle, he's probably going to play to the 5. I mean, if he had a little more angle, because he needs to get out fairly straight on that 5. I mean, he could do it here. He'd have to hit the ball hard. Okay, he is going to do it. So, ideally, you want to be, on this shot, ideally, like if you were hitting the ball straight into the long rail on the other side, about like, that's a little past ideal, but that's fine. So, from this angle here, the way he's going into the rack, you want to hit this with top right English. So you're trying to drive the ball into the rack.
He's going left.
Well, where this ball's sitting, right would be better. Because he's got enough room here where he can get into that 2 ball. Right was the better shot in that situation.
Let's doing it again. Jesus. Don't know what the hell's wrong with that.
If the 3 ball was down at the end of the rack, then the inside English is good. But where that was sitting where you can get into the rack and get pretty solid in that 2 ball, you want the right and top, drive it through, and then the right English catches on the other long rail and brings the cue ball out to the middle of the table.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, he just missed that. But the other thing about hitting that with top right is those balls would have spread a lot better.
Well, the run ends in 28, 6-point lead. But,
well, this rack's kind of tricky because the challenge here is dealing with that giant cluster in the center. And that's not how I would have done it, but hey, that actually worked out really well.
Well, every ball has got plenty of air around about it, so these should be fairly straightforward to pick your way through them.
Cobra says I was like left on them shots. Well, I agree with that when the 3 ball is maybe close to the rack, or the 3 ball would have been further down towards the far corner. But if you want a good tutorial on breaking, if you look at Mike Siegel's videos on how to play break shots,
yep,
he's got some great stuff. And the thing about this is playing straight pull is like playing poker. You guys have all played poker, so if you take the attitude that I won the pot, so it was the right play, or I lost the pot, so it was the wrong play, then you're probably going to play straight pull the same way, which is not going to be correct, because there's always the correct play. And what the correct play means is it gives you the best percentage. So if you take a shot that's a 10% of the time it works versus a shot that's a 40% of the time it works, and you happen to come out good on the 10% shot, that doesn't mean it was a good shot. And Cobra, you're right. It does normally work. And, I mean, there's a lot of times where it could be either way. And sometimes, it's a preference thing. But there are times when one way is definitely going to give you a better result than the other. That's all I'm saying.
Well, everything's shaping up reasonably well here.
Oh, yeah, this is beautiful. This is almost like a practice drill. It's sitting so good. You guys ever do that practice drill where you put 15 balls in a grid down at one end of the table? You make 14 of them, leave a break ball, and then you got to run so many balls. Sylvia showed you that drill. And I've probably done it in real life at least 400 or 500 times. It's a super drill for straight pull.
By the way, Steve, that's a question we all want to know, or the answer we want to know. What the hell happened with VP4 the other day?
There was a problem on the server, and it was actually, for all the times that everybody goes, there's a problem with the server, when there's not, this time there actually was.
Well,
it wasn't the network, it wasn't the data center, it was the actual server had a problem, which is about, when there's problems, that's about once every 200 or 300 times there's problems. But that time it was the actual server.
Yeah, because what was I doing at the time? I think I was setting up the stream, and I moved my little cue stick on the screen, and everything froze. And then the next thing I know, it was socket error, and then that was it for about 90 minutes. Good evening to Popman. Good evening to Slim. All these latecomers, we should lock the doors. If they don't get in here in time, we shouldn't let them in.
You see that comment by One Pocket Slim?
Something. No, it's gone off the screen for me.
Says I use too much spin in my game in general. And that's a great comment, because, I think in real life that happens a lot. If you watch a guy that grew up playing 9-ball, and that's what he's played, 9-ball and 10-ball, you watch them play straight pool, they use too much spin. In a game like straight pool, you don't want to be juicing the ball up a lot. And really, when you're playing 9-ball or 8-ball or whatever, it's better if you don't have to. The guys get used to doing it, and I know I do it too much.
Yeah, it's like an affliction.
But now you're taking that comment from a guy who plays a lot of one pocket too.
Well, one pocket, there's times where you really got to crank it up in one pocket. I mean, but not a most, like if you're running balls like a pattern, like straight pull, you don't. But yeah, if you're just playing basic patterns in one pocket, it should be like straight pull. But I'll tell you the number one thing players do wrong, and this is in real life and in VP, and that is using draw too much. Now, when I say players, I mean players that are not novices. I mean players that play. If you took a look at the guys that are, most of the guys that are, maybe 1800 to 2200. Most of those guys probably use draw too much.
I don't. I just use my genius.
More so in real life with draw, Steve. Once they learn to do it, it's like, wow, I can do this every time.
Well, it's a crutch. It's a comfort thing. And I lost a match to Oscar Dominguez Hill like that, where I had him and I went and played draw on a shot I shouldn't have, and I lost the match. And that's when you really learn, is when you do that. And that cost me a lot of money too, because it was in like, I don't know, I think we were into the top 16 in the tournament, in a 200 player tournament, and I lost because I went to the comfort thing with too much draw, and it was a very painful experience.
The thing is, if you get the right shape on that ball to get to the next ball, you're never using draw.
Well, draw's just not reliable.
Draw's the thing you use as a last resort if you're trying to get there. Likewise with English. It's the only time you'll ever use English and draw is when you're trying to get there. If you don't have the angle,
Yeah, I mean, draw's used a lot. I mean, stun, when you're playing stun, you're playing draw a lot, although, you're hitting down on the cue ball. The thing is it's a moderate level. And I shoot a lot of draw shots where I'm drawing the ball 6 inches, but the way I do it is I move the Q-tip down, half a tip, and I hit it hard, which is a lot easier to control than moving the Q-tip way down and hitting it easy.
Well, I'm old enough, unfortunately, to remember Eddie Charlton. And Eddie Charlton was the main Australian snooker player back in the day, back in the late 60s and 70s. and he got to World Finals. He never won it. I think he got to the billiards World Final a couple of times as well. But the one thing that Eddie's, what would you say? His rule was he was loath to use side playing snooker. So his game was all hinged around getting the right shape every time.
I thought that was a given for all snooker players.
Well,
snooker players don't use much English.
No, I mean, and generally the top guys in the game very rarely have to do that. You'll only ever see players using side in snooker if they're the wrong side of the blue and they have to punch it around the two corners to get back down the table, or whatever, anything to avoid hitting a baulk colour. But other than that, it's very rarely you're going to see them imparting loads of spinning the cue ball because they're so good at getting on the spot each time.
Yeah, and playing off stun is tough, but if you do it right, it's a beautiful thing to see. I mean, there's some pool players that do it. Josh Filler plays like that a lot. Anton Raga, another guy. I mean, general pool players tend to roll the ball more. It's because it's hard to play off stun, and especially a game like this.
Well, this is going to be back to square one for Tommyy. Matt's on 25. I wouldn't say. I think the 11s or the 15 could be the best bet for the break ball here.
Well,
the 3's right in the corner.
I'm actually a little surprised at how well this match has been played because, at least as far as they're both making some decent runs. Oh boy, yeah, this is not the break ball you want.
Yeah, it's going to be the 15 cut into the pack, and again, same problem.
If he's going to shoot this 11, he needs to stun this thing. Or, okay, he's going to go down the corner. He needs to get a lot of angle on this 15. That is not enough.
No.
He needed to be at least in the middle of the table. This is no good. Because it's hard to get any speed. At this point, I'd be tempted to go forward. Or the problem is it's going to be hard to even get to the 14 ball going forward. I think, yeah, this is terrible.
Well,
yeah. See that shot? Okay, let me tell you guys how to shoot that shot. Because
I think he played it a bit right. He must have to straighten it.
That shot comes up quite a bit. Well, for starters, you want more angle, but the key to that shot is the best way to play that shot is hit it with a lot of draw. So you get more angle and hit it with a lot of draw. And you say, why draw? Well, what's going to happen is when the cue ball hits the rail, it's still going to have some of that draw. And when it comes into the rack, it's going to be top, and it's going to drive. So draw's a good thing to use there. It's also going to probably pull the cue ball back a little and give you a little more angle coming into the rack. But that top spin's going to help keep you from scratching up in the far corner.
Semi, I mean, not just Semi, Bedhead and whoever else is watching. Have you ever watched that video with Mike Siegel on straight pool, the one I've been talking about? I mean, he's got others, but the one I'm talking about is quite an old one, but there's a lot of good basic info that you get from him when you're working in and around that pack with all different types of break shots. And Steve's talking about how you use, whether you're using bottom or left or whatever, depending on where that cue ball is and depending on the angle of the break shot. I mean, there's a great little section in that video that's well worth watching.
Yeah, now let me say this about what I just told you guys. The other thing that you can do with that shot where you're on the rail is hit that with a lot of top, because then when it comes into the rack, it's going to be draw and it's going to come back away from it. So which one is the best one? Well, that kind of depends situationally on how the balls are sitting. I would say overall, the the top spin's the safer one because it's draw when it hits the rack, and it's going to give you separation more. But the bottom is also useful. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is don't hit it with center ball, because that's probably the worst thing you can do, unless you know you're catching like a corner ball where it's going to move away from the rack.
Now, where's his break ball here?
Well, I mean, the 6 is sitting really good. The 1's really too low to use as a break ball. So, I mean, really, right now, the 6 is
I think he's lining up the combo, or he's thinning the 2.
Yeah, I mean, the 10 could be broken off of 2. He can also always move a ball. I mean, right now, it looks like I'd be shooting the 2 here. I'd probably shoot the 2 and try to bump the 12 ball. I mean, you could bump the 12 ball to be you'd have to hit the 2 pretty easy, but you could bump the 12 ball.
You think so? I think he needs to put a bit of right on it if he's going to try and get near the 12.
Yeah, he would have to put right on it. The issue isn't getting the angle of the 12. The issue is more the speed on the cue ball, hitting it too hard. Now, I don't get shooting that because the 2 ball wasn't a hard shot, and he just gave up both his potential break balls. So,
yeah.
Now he's going to have to do something to make a break ball.
Well, the 6 ball could. And I don't know whether the 6 ball's a good ball for the 2 ball, because the 2 ball's too far left.
The 6 ball would be okay if it was, it's not a great break ball. It would help if it was closer to the rail, even though that makes the shot a little tougher. It makes it a lot easier to get into the rack the way you want. The 1 ball is just a little low. You could play the 1 ball and go 2 rails into the back of the stack. Now, if that 1 ball is in the same place but closer to the pocket, that's actually really good to play 2 rails into the back of the pack. And when you come into the back of the pack, you're coming at an angle, and the cue ball is going to separate. If the 1 ball is like up maybe even with the pocket or a little higher, then you can break off that directly into the top of the rack.
Good evening to Spud Boy. Potman has a question. What does that say?
He says he has a question from Christy. Christy is a longtime VP player. As you guys may have figured out from listening, there's a lot of different ways you can play break shots, and most of them the players here aren't using. There's a lot of ways that you can break racks. And it helps to learn them because stuff happens. So he's going to use the 6 ball, which is...
Well, he's got to get...
Okay, he needs to get this as thin as he can without blocking the rack. Yeah, I would have got a little thinner, but... So on this one, you absolutely can't use top. Your choices are straight across into the 8 ball or draw it. Well, he did use a little top, and it worked. You see how the cue ball came across? If I was going to hit that with top, I would have used more. But he was in a position where he could come straight across and hit that corner ball, which is pretty hard to get stuck on. And he came out beautiful. Look at the shot he's got here. Now, this one for sure I would go top, and he could scratch if he goes bottom. This is not the way to hit this. This is a top right shot. It was what you should be doing. If you hit this with draw, you can come into that 2 ball or 5 ball and come right back in this corner. Okay, well he hit it at a speed where it didn't have enough juice.
Well,
but the problem with hitting at that speed is look what he's ended up with. I mean, he needed to crank that, and top right is pretty safe there. The only thing bad that can happen is it actually scratches in the cross side. That's the only bad thing that can happen with that top right in that position.
Right, hang on a minute.
If you didn't see the break, it didn't the rack didn't spread very well because the cue ball jumped off the rail and jumped in the air and hit the pack.
Yeah, but that's going to happen a lot on that. I mean, it helps to get the cue as level as you can on that shot, and I'm not sure whether he tried to do that.
Well,
because a lot of times in VP, the cue's not all the way level. You can get it more level by taking the B key and moving the butt down.
Matt's now in his high run for the tournament. It was 43, so he's bettered that by 3. And that 12 ball, how's that sitting? It's not.
I mean, he might want to shoot this. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not sitting bad. He doesn't have to hit this real hard.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Okay, from this angle, he wants to crank it. This is just full blast top. He's going to be hitting the 15 ball. The chance of scratching is really low.
Well,
that's not how you want to hit that.
Yeah, he needed to juice that.
Drive it through.
That's just see, if he would have hit that hard, it would have, instead of hitting the 3 ball, it would have hit the 15 ball, and he would have been right in the meat of the rack, and he could have drove through it. And he's probably afraid of getting stuck or something or scratching, but that's just experience in playing straight pull.
That 15 ball is it? That looks as if it's blocking the 2 to the 3 to the side pocket.
No, the 2-3 is on.
Can he get it?
Let's see if it'll actually go in. Well, the 2-3 is on if you play the 5 into the 2 and the 3. Because right now, if you hit it straight, it's going to hit the far point.
Yeah, going to go at the jaw.
You got to throw it a little. So you got to hit the 5. If you go 5-2-3, yes, the 2-3 is on.
Well, we know what he's doing now, though. It's the old slam bam, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, and that's another thing that
that'll do.
Players aren't doing that much as they're not looking at the rack.
That will do, though.
That came out wonderfully. But this is what I was saying before about guys getting high runs is that since they're not playing the right patterns, they got to have some things go their way. And right now it is for McClarkley. Honestly, this is a higher run than I thought he would get in this match. I figured maybe he'd get a 40, and he's at 52 and still going.
Yep, bedhead's sweating.
So, every match is a new match. You can ask Larry about that. He's had some matches he played very well, and some other matches he really struggled. Okay, the problem with changing the profile pic, Christy, is that another guy pretending to be a girl? Because Christy's a girl, right?
Christy's a very pretty girl.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, huh? Use a different browser. I can't remember whether it was Firefox or Chrome. I think it was Firefox that there was some kind of weird problem sometimes.
I just use PNGs for transparency. I've never got a problem. Plus, I'm only ever using the internal browser when I'm uploading a pic, and it's never given me any issues.
Well, that McClarkey has a tendency to hit the ball soft, and that was just too soft. I mean, you got to realize that you're not going to scratch coming off that. He did draw it back, which was good, and he got the angle. He just didn't hit it hard enough.
Yeah, he's dead now.
Well, he might be able to play the 14. It's close. I don't think he can. 8-14, a carom shot, but I think the 8's sitting just a little too close to the 14 to do it. This is where you got to start looking at caroms and billiards and combos and all these sort of things that are.
Well, that 12 doesn't go in the side.
No. Well, it does, but it's a tough shot.
He's got to make it. Though.
It will go in. I mean, he's got a pretty good look from this angle because the 14 ball. I think he's going to overcut it.
Oh, yep. No, I thought it was going to get a glance here.
He was going too straight into the 14. I was sitting right behind him in the room, using the view key, and he was like straight into the 14, and it looked to me like it was over the cut. Now, what it looks like to me doesn't mean that much since I can't make a ball in VP. I'm not used to the visual. I'd have to start playing a lot again, but for once, it actually looked the way it was.
Well, it's a good enough run for Matt, 57. And now Tommy's got what to do. Tommyy needs to respond.
It's 57, and he's got a 50-shot lead to 150. So, yeah, he needs 55, and Tommyy needs 105. Now, shooting this break ball here, I hate doing this because the problem is not only you're getting rid of the break ball, but you're not opening up those balls. He's at an angle where he's shooting his break ball and he doesn't get into the 4, 8, 6, 9.
He's not dealt with the problem. Yep.
I mean, the 3 is a better break ball, but it's a shame to lose that ball. And I mean, my preference would have been to shoot a different ball and get an angle on that. What was that? The 13 baller that he shot. That he could get into the rack there and spread those out. Especially because, see, if you're hitting that ball with an angle on that side, you're spreading the 4, 8, 6, and 9 into this big open area versus spreading them towards the 3 and 10, which are your possible break balls, and clustering that up.
I think he was trying to leave himself sort of here in this 15 ball to run into the bunch of balls. He's maybe going to try running around the corner to the 14 and get an angle.
Yeah, but the problem with this, again, is it's going to potentially drive balls in to positions you don't want them. I mean, right now, the 4 ball's headed towards the side pocket, so that's not bad. I don't know if he realizes that the 8-4 is dead in the side pocket. I mean, he's always got that. He could shoot this 14 and then possibly 4-8 and break up that 9-6. Yeah, now he's looking at using his break ball, which is not a wise move at this point.
Oh dear.
Yeah, and that's just I mean, that wasn't it wasn't a simple situation, but it wasn't really that hard either. I mean, he probably never noticed that the 8-4 was dead.
Well, it's certainly dead now because there's nothing near it, but it probably won't be there in a second or two.
So Steve, if you had ball in hand now and you were playing this rack, would you use that to go ahead and break out your trouble?
No, not from here, because too many bad things can happen from here. Like, he's going to shoot the 1. He could even scratch here. Yeah, not from that side of the rack he won't. But, hitting it that easy, you also risk not coming up with a shot.
Yeah. Now,
He almost didn't.
What did Tommyy get there? Like 3 or something?
Yeah, I think he got
3
5 or 6.
Yeah, 3. Well, whatever it was plus the scratch. So he's in dire straits.
Yeah. So I mean,
he got 5 minus the 1.
Yeah. And now he's created a problem here. I presume that was a problem he's just created. I didn't notice the 6 and 9 stuck together.
They weren't.
Yeah.
He was probably trying not to move the 9, but I mean, now he's put this on top of it. I mean, he can shoot the 6 up table.
Yeah, it's not a problem. He can certainly. He doesn't have to be trying to move them. He can just now that I say that.
Yeah, now he's going to move. See, he could have just played position and shot the 6 up table, especially in VP where you're not going to miss that many balls up table when you're close to the object ball down here.
No, he's okay.
If you watch semi play, he shoots a lot of balls up table, a lot more than a normal straight pool player would. But you just, you're not going to miss those balls like you would in real life. Yep, 4-14, 2 rails, and on the 9 ball. So this ball, you don't want to leave a lot of angle. I mean, it's better to be a little straighter than a little more angle on this shot.
2 rails and out. This is...
and that's a reasonable angle at it. All right, so he's coming in right on that 4 ball. So this one I would draw a lot. This is a sort of shot that I would put a lot of draw on the ball. Because he's going to hit the bottom of the 4 first. And he did, and that's what happens when you put a lot of draw and you hit the bottom of that 4 ball. Now, if he didn't do that, there's a good chance it was shooting right down into the corner pocket.
So, Matt, what is he, 47 away? And Tommy's got a mountain to climb.
Well, you know, Matt's straight pool game is a little better than I realized. I mean, he's doing a lot of good things. I mean, he tries to control the cue ball and he tries to play the right shots. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of experience playing this game. That's obvious, but I mean, with the skills that he's got, he's been able to make a pretty good showing here.
Well, I'll tell you what he needs now, Steve. He's got these balls sitting pretty good. He needs a bedhead run out. That's what he needs.
Well, I don't know if he's going to get that, but I think it's going to Matt. If Matt ends up playing bedhead, I think he's going to need to play at least this level to have a chance.
Oh, the yawning started. But I don't care. I don't need to go to work for a week.
VP4 is saying invalid password.
Who, for Christy?
Then she probably doesn't know what her password is. Tell her to do a forgot password so she can get a reset link because...
Yeah. I mean, the clues are there, Potman. Surely she's know that thick.
Yeah, there's a forgot password you can click on the login page. Yeah, Christy plays a lot of pool in real life. Now, I've never, well, maybe I've talked to her, but I know I've seen her page always has pictures of her shooting pool. That's the kind of women I like, ones that play pool.
Yep, she goes to Vegas nearly every year on the team she's on.
What'd she play, APA?
Yeah, I think she did back in the past play AP. I'm not sure about now. I haven't spoken to her.
Probably I've never seen her. I've only gone for BCA and Valley, and actually I went for APA once, but I wasn't playing in the tournaments. I just went there to
oh dear,
gamble and make money playing in their little mini tournaments. I mean, you can play like 8 or 9 mini tournaments a day and make some pretty good money in those APA things.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
That's a good one.
I remember I beat Ike Reynolds in the finals of one of those little tournaments, and so we go to the window and they go, "Oh, Ike, you want another one?" And he goes, "No, I did." And then we go to get paid and they give him first place and he goes, "Oh no, he won." So I was talking to him. He'd been there. That was like his 7th tournament for the day, and he'd won every one he played in. I don't know if you know who Ike Reynolds is, but he's from Red Shoes in Chicago. Real strong player. Real good one-pocket player.
Well, Matt didn't get the 8 ball to the hole, which is probably the biggest fail. That's the Larry shot. Everybody knows what I'm talking about there. He didn't get it to the hole. Trackball mouse.
Is he using a trackball?
I don't know, but that's the type of shot she end up doing with a trackball mouse.
Isn't Larry the only one that still uses a trackball?
Yeah, I think he's the only one that's crazy enough to use one.
Oh boy, he did not get there. Yep, he's probably going to have to go 3 rails here.
What, to go on the 10?
Well, no, he was able to soft draw it. That was a good shot.
Well, I think he was reasonably okay. He's certainly close enough to not miss this.
Now this one you're close enough. This one I'd actually hit this with low and right English, believe it or not. This is kind of a cool shot, is low right, because it will spin the cue ball out towards the center of the table off the long rail.
Well, I think he's in he's in a bit of trouble here.
No, he's got the 313. There's no problem. 313 combo. That actually, I like the way he hit that break shot. That actually wasn't a bad way to hit it. He was able to go through them and into the end rail. I've seen John Schmidt hit that break shot. I don't play that break shot much, but I've seen John Schmidt do it quite a bit.
You're talking about Lloyd Bridges, Spud Boy. He picked the wrong time to give up smoking. And then he says he picked the wrong time to give up amphetamines.
Pot man says Christy's waiting. Well, she can PM me.
Tell Christy to come into the stream. Mind you, she won't be able to chat now that I think about it, because I think I've got subscribers only.
That's the worst advice I've ever heard. Coming to the stream.
Yeah, come in.
Full of a bunch of male egos.
Come in to get abuse.
Yeah. that's poor advice that I've ever heard.
Come in to get ridiculed because she doesn't know how to reset her password.
Oh, there we go.
I think he's going to have to do the old Chinese snooker routine here. Yep. I hate these. Well, got it. We have to. Well, can you get the 12? Yep.
Boy, was that a horrible shot.
Yeah, he's got some other horrible shots to come by the look of these clusters here. He's the wrong side of the 15 to do anything.
Yeah, the one Tommy just shot, he just flat out missed, and he shouldn't. A shot he should have never missed.
Oh, I missed that. I was looking at the chat. Tommy was at the table 30 seconds ago. Now he's not, so I missed that shot you're talking about, Rob. Oh dear! After playing the awkward one into the side.
Yeah, he shot almost a straight in 15 ball, just missed it.
Yeah, I think that's what's playing in his mind. The fact that he knows he has to deliver when he's got that sort of chance. It wasn't a great opportunity, but it's about staying at the table for a little while, and that contribution, however small it is, it's just not going to get him back into the game. Is that a combo? That 6 and 2. It looks pretty good. No, it looks as if it's going to the jaw. It might go in the left side, but more likely it's going to the point.
It's really close.
Well, any latecomers that joined us, we're now at this situation in this tournament where we have 6 players left in the tournament. There's about to be 5. And while Matt is trying to get on this 12 ball, well, I thought he was going to try and get on the 12, but he might have done better to try and do that, to try and nudge into those balls. He might still have a bailout in the 4 though. We've got the other match on the one-loss side, which is between Bedhead and Hairpig. They've still to set up, but the winner of this match will play the winner of the Hairpig Bedhead match. Albinario has sent a proposal to Stubb. It was for tonight at 7 p.m, which is obviously come and gone, and for next Friday or Saturday, but Stubb is still to respond. Well, it's a bit disheartening when when you're failing with the couple of chances he's had. So I mean, you never give up until it's done and dusted, and that's the great thing about straight pull is that if you're going to ever pull off a run to steal a match, now's as good a time as anything. It's a tall order, but it can be done.
Yeah, well, chances are he'll get more than one chance. I don't think he needs to run out, but I mean, he probably needs to get out in 2 or 3 turns to have a chance.
7 ball will be it.
This is a little awkward here. I think the way to go here is 2 rails. Get a little English and spin it and let it run.
Yep.
Of course, he's not going to do what I say.
No, he's going straight up, but he's going to go further away. But the further away he goes, the better the angle he gets.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was rolling up the line. I mean, that's not a terrible way to do it, but yeah, that rack didn't come apart very good. That's the trouble with having a low angle. If you get a rack that doesn't want to come apart well, then you get problems. Well, I would be looking to run into the 8 ball here, and the reason why is because you're probably going to get a shot on the 6 or the 9, even if it sticks.
Yep. Right into that gap. Oh, dear.
Well, when I said run into the 8 ball, I meant going forward off the end rail, not trying to draw it.
But he don't leave a whole lot.
Well, you got the 12-4. That's a pretty easy shot.
You're way off. I say you're way off this time, son.
I love Foghorn Leghorn.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just a pity that all of these cartoons are not politically correct anymore. I miss Bugs Bunny. I miss Elmer
It's a chicken hawk, boy. It's a chicken hawk.
Look at me when I'm speaking to you, boy.
You got to get the chicken hawk soundbite. That's a great one.
I love the one with the little weasel.
You guys are showing your age.
Yeah.
I guess I am too.
Well, I mean, we don't get to see the proper. I'm talking about the proper Tom and Jerry's. You don't get to see them anymore. There's too much violence in them for the kids. I mean, plus the fact that you've got the stereotypical black housemaid who you'll never see her stockings and her ankles up on top of a chair. They don't show that now anymore. We don't get to see the good, proper Tom and Jerry's.
Well, in my humble opinion, the best cartoon ever was Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Well, we saw that, but that was. I think they used to show that in the afternoons over here. Yeah.
I mean, that was a very sophisticated show. It was designed for adults. I mean, even now you probably have to go look some words up in the dictionary they use. It was not really a children's cartoon.
I used to like Deputy Dog.
Bugs Bunny was not, and it was not a children cartoon. If you listen to some of the dialogue in the Bugs Bunny cartoon, it's just they're way advanced of what children are going to understand.
Yeah, and a lot of things were like that. When the Flintstones came out, that debuted at prime time. So it wasn't like one of these Saturday morning cartoons. It was a prime time weeknight show.
Mm-hmm.
How things have changed.
I banned Speedy Gonzales years ago.
Yeah, the Roadrunner, Speedy Gonzales, all the great stuff with Mel Blanc.
Oh yeah, the Roadrunner is great.
Roadrunner, run all day.
Well, Tommy needs to do something big here. Now this is a perfect shot where you can bump that 15, and he did it beautifully. That was the perfect speed to get it out, get a shot on the 2-ball. Now, I would be looking at the 14 ball as the ball to get on the 15. And the reason why I wouldn't look at the 13 is because there's no easy way to get simple on the 13. And if you get funny, it's no good.
No.
Well, that wasn't very good. He should have stunned over, shot the 13 in the corner, and then been on the 14. Now he's got to do something.
Now, he could stun over for the 14.
Yeah, from here I would do 14 on the side. I'd stun over the long rail and shoot the 14 on the side from here. That's what he's going to do.
He's got to. I think he's got to barely get this to the hole if he's going to hold any sort of angle.
That's pretty much true. Yep, and he played it well. So that was well played. I mean, he kind of screwed up, but he recovered. So this is coming into the top side of the 13. So this is like a stun shot. Maybe just a little bit of draw. And you want to hit this hard at this angle. He's putting quite a bit more draw. No, he's pretty much in the middle.
Yeah, that was the one with Jackie Gleason, wasn't it? I thought that the Flintstones was sort of based on the Jackie Gleason show thing that was on. Was that not the one where he was a bus driver? I think you're right in saying the Newlyweds. Is that not what it was called?
Okay, I think he's going to roll this 11 ball and then shoot the 12 next. He can get a shot on this 8 ball where he can shoot the 8 ball. He's got, the problem is he doesn't have a huge pocket. Yeah, he's probably wise doing that. I mean, that 8 ball was good for breaking the rack, but the pocket was a little restricted, and that's never a fun shot. I mean, the 13 ball will definitely open things up. All right, well, this situation, I would drive through the rack just because I'm going to want to come up with a shot. I'd hit this with top right. Because he doesn't have a safety ball down here where, near the corner where if this gets stuck, he can shoot it. So he needs to hit this. He needs to drive this ball through. Yeah, see, he didn't drive it through. At least he hit it hard, but he didn't drive it through. He needed to put top on that. He kind of stunned it, and he's lucky he's got a shot.
Well, cut the 6, push the 7 up table.
That's what I'm saying. Like, for these guys to crank off higher runs, they've got to have a little bit of luck because they're not playing the rack the right way. So when they do the wrong thing like he just did, they need a little luck to come out.
Why not stun that 7 and stun into the what's that ball next to the 10 and break the 9 and 6, 9 and 14? Pot the 7, run into the 10, run into the 9.
The only thing about that shot is that,
Well, he's done it anyway.
You're not going to get a lot of speed on it, and the problem is that you could get stuck or come up with a shot. Like those little shots like that, I shot those a lot in straight pull, and I kind of learned that you don't really want to shoot that unless you have to, just because I've gotten stuck so many times.
You're right. It was the Honeymooners. Now that you mention it.
Oh, the Honeymooners was a great show.
Yeah, but
Jackie Gleason.
I'm sure I read somewhere that the Flintstones was sort of based around that as an idea. I might be wrong.
Might have been.
Oh well, he's got his bailout ball.
Yeah, he needs to get to that 1 ball because that 1 ball is kind of a little key here because it opens things up.
That's a problem with modern classics, Cobra. I don't think I've watched anything modern in the last 20 years. I'm still watching episodes of Minder, I'm still watching the Sweeney in the afternoons when I get home. And then I fall asleep during them anyway.
I'm not sure what he's doing here. I mean, the 14 goes, doesn't it?
I
guess it's a little tight. He'd have to throw it with a little inside English.
Yeah, it's not a great invitation, that shot.
Well, he's going to have to hit this with some speed to get on a ball if he's going to shoot the 9.
Yeah, he's going to have to get out into the table, and he has done, almost.
Yeah, that's not how I would have shot it, but yeah. I mean, at this point, I'd probably shoot the 3 ball. It's going to bump the 1 towards the pocket. I'd probably shoot the 3 ball and go forward. And then you're either going to have the 1 next or the 13 or 14 on the side.
Well, this is a must.
Looks like what he's going to do here.
It's a must. He has to get it. Oh dear.
Uh-oh.
Oh dear.
Maybe he is using the track ball. Wow, that hurts. That's got to be frustrating.
Yeah, it has.
That really hurts.
Well, dare I say it, he might have a trackball mouse again.
Wow, that's frustrating. It's an old piece of lint on the laser mouse or something, you know. If I was playing on one of these things, I'd clean my mouse and my mouse pad and get out the lint duster and get everything off the desk. And
I'll tell you what that is, Steve. That's having your finger over the shoot button on the mouse when you're actually wanting to actually look at a shot and you hit it by mistake. I think that's exactly what that is. You know, you're trying to get to the V button and you've got your finger over the mouse thinking of shooting, and then when you think against it and go to look, you realise you've hit the S button and the ball's gone 2 feet. Well,
yeah, well, whatever it was ugly.
It's a disaster.
And it's going to cost him because
break ball sit in place.
McClarky's played pretty good in this match. I mean,
well, he's gone in the right direction. I said one of them had to put something together, so he's achieved one thing, and that's got his high run, and that's what you have to be doing. You have to be making these, well, important enough contributions to take yourself away from your opponent, or at least put big pressure on them. And so he done that.
Yeah. Well, you know, I don't know Tommyy real well, but I like him. I mean, he seems like a really nice person, and you know, he's always playing in these things, and he's done fairly well. I mean, I think he's going to need to improve to win one, but he stayed in this tournament quite a while.
Well, I think he's neither here nor there in either of these balls. Yeah. No.
Well, I mean,
that was reasonably well controlled.
Yeah, well, he's far enough away from the 10 ball. He had a fair amount of distance there. It's when you're real close that it becomes touchy. His line was, even though it was across the line, it was further up the table. Okay, and that was well played.
Bonus ball. Now, these balls are broken pretty nice. That line of balls all go from this side, not a problem.
Yeah, he's going to shoot the 7, and he gets behind on the other side of these, and he can start picking these off, which is the right way to play it. He's probably going to roll through here and go 4-8.
Yeah, this rack did break very nice. There's nothing that didn't go.
Well, he needs to get up and get rid of the... In fact, he needs to decide whether he's keeping that 6 ball, because that's at the bottom end of the pack pretty much, or whether he wants to go from the back of the pack, because all of these other balls are in the cluster, they're in the triangle.
Well, if you're going to go with that 3 ball, you're going to either want to leave the 9 or the 15 to get on it. Preferably, I'd probably be looking at leaving the 15 just because the 9s may end up being a blocker.
Now, see this situation right? Well, as it is now, he's potted the 3. But would you have already see that? I would have probably decided already what my break shot's going to be. And now that he has taken that 3, then we know he wasn't even thinking about that in the first place. He's got
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have decided at that point, but I would have tried to save 2 break balls. I wouldn't have shot that 3 at that point because it wasn't a ball that was blocking other balls that you had to shoot.
Well, he might be using the 15 now as a break ball.
He's done that before. I mean, I don't like those break balls. Bad things can happen from those kind of break balls. The 6 is doable. It's a little low, but it's doable. You can get into the corner ball.
Now, why not roll the 6 up table, get rid of the 2?
Well, I mean, if you're keeping the 6 for a break ball.
Well, that's assuming he's keeping the 15 for a break ball, but he could have got rid of that too there if he just potted the 6 and finished on this side.
If he got right on this 5, he can make the 12 a break ball. That's the thing is, when you're going to manufacture a break ball, it's real easy to see that, you get a little angle the other way on that 5 ball that he had in that corner. You can just bump the 12 and bump it out, and you have a great break ball.
Oh, I don't know why he didn't take the 2 and maybe just run into the 12, try and create it as a break ball and still have the 6 as a backup.
Yeah, he's probably going to run into him right now.
Now he's trying.
He shot the 6.
Yeah, he's trying to get high enough, and he's gone too far this time for the 2, so it's going to be the 12 he's going to get rid of, and he's going to stick with the 15, I would think.
Yeah. Well, the 9's actually not a bad break ball because you can draw it back right into the corner ball on the rack, which it's safer hitting that corner ball, less chance of scratching. I actually prefer the 9 ball for a break ball over the 15 ball. Of course, he'll shoot the 9 because whatever I say, they're going to do something different. Well, obviously he doesn't want to use. I'm not sure what he's doing.
I don't know what he's doing. I'm at a loss now.
Yeah, I don't think he knows what he's doing either.
Well, I'll tell you what he's doing. He's doing enough to be 10 away from the finishing line, so little nudge.
Yeah, well, trying to get a break ball that way is tough. I mean, he can shoot this. I'd probably look at drawing back, not hitting this real hard, and trying to glance off the 12 ball. Try to keep the pocket as big as, hit this medium speed. Well, the top's not bad either. That works. Just hit a corner ball there so you don't get stuck. That was a well played shot. Well, that was risky there. Well, he's got a chance to shoot this 3 ball and maybe hit a touch inside and come up and hit that 4 ball, and he's probably going to get a shot on the 13 or 15.
Well, he may well be going over the other side of the 12. I don't think he's going to smack the pack here.
He's trying to get to the other side of it.
Yeah, and
well, the 4-8's dead, but he can't get to it. Well, he could get to it 2 rails, but yeah. That looks like what he's going to try to do. Although, where is he going? Didn't he just call the 4 ball or the 8 ball?
Yeah, he's called the 8.
Yeah. Oh, he's trying to play it that way. Well, it was dead in the other corner. He needed to hit a 2-rail kick at that. It wasn't dead where he tried to shoot it.
Well, this is as much the last chance saloon as you're ever going to get.
Yeah, it's something good needs to happen here for Tommy.
Yeah, Tommy just needs to relax and get a good rhythm going.
I think McClarkey should have played safe there because this if he were playing a guy that that has the abilities that Tommyy has, he could lose the game needing just 5.
Well, this will be the biggest or the best finish in the tournament by somebody who's at death's door trying to hang in there, but there's every possibility it could happen. It's more than unlikely it's going to happen, but you never know.
Well, he'd have to pop off his high run ever probably to do it.
Yeah, but what's Tommy's high run in this tournament? I've forgotten. Where the hell's Tommyy in this thing?
48.
41, I think. I think it was 48. Was Tommy's was 48, I think.
Right.
I think
Bedhead. All right.
Clarkie's was 41 before this, but he just did his high run in this match.
Yeah, Matt's was 41 and Tommy's high run's 48. So Matt's already beat his high run, so Tommyy needs to produce it.
Yeah, I got a buddy. I'm talking to him, and I asked him what his high run and straight pull was, and he goes 165, and I'm like, really? I go, for a player your caliber, that's not that high. He goes, yeah. He goes, but I was playing. It was for $1,000, and I'm like, okay, well now it sounds a lot higher.
I guess so.
Yeah, you start popping off those kind of runs for the money. That's pretty strong.
Yeah, you pop off over 100 balls for money. You've made a pretty good run.
Oh dear, sorry about that, guys, but the yawning's kicking in. I'll probably get my second wind in about an hour's time once I've had a coffee.
Well, boy, he got perfect on this.
Cue ball.
I didn't really look at the angle. I'm not sure going forward was a bad idea, but if you're going to go forward, you need to drive forward, not just a kind of rolling forward. I mean, if you're going to hit it with top, in most of the situations, unless you see that a lot of top could bring scratch into play, you're better off, really juicing up the cue ball.
Well, it's a run to the finish line now. It's all over.
Yeah, the thing is, if he hits that harder, then it gets more into the top balls and less off the side of the rack. Yeah, I think he can probably handle it from here. What was that?
Well, there's the commentator's curse.
Wow, talk about a poorly thought out shot. That was it.
You know what that comment was, Steve?
Wow. Maybe he's feeling sorry for Tommyy. Yep, I guess he is.
Well, this is last chance saloon take 2.
I guess. Well, that was something else there. Ball in the hand, and he does that.
Well, look on the bright side, Tommyy only scored 1.
I thought he was going to shoot the 4 ball and roll forward and shoot like the 11 ball. I didn't,
Me as well.
I'll tell you something though. Unless he can pot this 6, he's going to struggle to get another ball if he took the 12.
Oh no, the 6 goes, and then he can shoot the 14, and this is all fine and dandy.
Now he can do
Clarkie's last shot. I think I'd have, like Hugh said, pick off what's there.
Just a little nudge here.
He doesn't need to nudge it. 14 and then 11. He doesn't need to nudge the 2 ball.
Can you see that? Let's throw it.
Just soft hit this and come up and shoot the 11. He's going to hit it firmer. He could have come up and shot the 9 ball too, and if you got the right angle, move the balls. That was an opportunity lost there, where he could have just hit that at the speed. He left angle on the 9 and gone right into the rack.
Well, he take it. Oh.
And now he does something crazy. Some missed opportunities where, it's those sort of things are the reason why he's not doing better in this match. He could get into the 8 and then into the 1.
You know that.
It's just at the right speed, it'll go 8, then 1. Well, he hit it easy. He need to hit that with some speed, get on the other side of the 8, and then the cue ball hits the 1 and spreads those. How many times have we seen this, Hugh, where guys just passed up all the opportunities to move the cluster, and then they struggle towards the end of the rack?
Running out of balls, yep.
I mean, it's been over and over and over again in some of these matches where, and some of the better guys have done that too.
Well, I'm trying my best to find something. What about that 13 3 and 1? That looks pretty good to me, as long as he gets rid of the 9. I think.
I think the 1 ball's dead as long as you hit it hard. 13-3-1.
There's a little gap, so I think it can be made.
Well, when you have that kind of shot and you look at it and you see that if the 1 ball throws at all, you're done. It's not going in. The way to keep it from throwing much is to hit it high speed, because the ball's going to throw more at low speed. By the converse, if you needed it to throw, you don't want to hit it that hard.
Now, I presume he's had a look at that.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Hugh. I think even at speed, that thing's probably going to hit the titty.
Look what he's done.
Well, it threw way out. Yeah, I wouldn't have shot that 1 ball because it was just, that gap wasn't big enough to, it was going to throw some almost no matter how hard you hit it.
I think, 12 goes. So all the balls are there. So
I tell you, trying to judge the throw and all that on those kind of balls, I cannot tell you how many times in one pocket rack I've taken a ball out of the rack and shot at it, and I thought for sure it was going to go in and missed the pocket by a ball. It makes you look like a complete idiot too, because you sell out.
Well, once Matt got that high run, that was a punch to the solar plexus, as they say. I think that took the wind out of Tommyy, because his contributions dried up.
I think this is the smart shot, bumping into these balls. I think that's the most guaranteed way to come up with a shot. Just let it roll forward, bump the 10, and then into the 7, and you're going to have a shot probably on the 10.
We'll drop the 1 in and take the 3 in the side. Game over.
Yeah. He's going to come back out. That's a good shot. Well, that's going to be it. But this was a fairly exciting match. We got to see them both run quite a few balls. I mean, Tommyy popped off a decent run too.
Right, so Matt,
the stats, you.
Matt marches on. Need to do a quick refresh because that'll put Matt's high run in.
Let's see the stats for this match. I'd be interested in seeing, their average run and everything just for this match.
How do you get that again? Do you have to type the names in, or do you have to go to the bracket?
Yeah, you have to put the names in. You got everything right. Just put in the 2 player names, and we'll see their stats for this match.
Oh, there's so many Tommies here, Steve. This doesn't scroll far enough to get Tommyy. Oh, wait a minute. There he is. Right, and
well, you can put more letters in.
No, you have to put more letters. I've found you have to put more letters in and start deleting them, and then it finds the name. I've worked how this thing works. It's weird.
Well, it's for some reason, and I don't understand why. It's slower with the internal browser and pulling up the names than it is externally.
Let's see. No, I can't find. Oh, there he is.
A couple more letters.
There he is at the bottom.
Let's see. Is that the right way to spell Tommyy?
No, that didn't work either.
Tommy?
Yeah, that's his name, and I've lost it. Let me try it again.
Tomm, 2 Y's, yeah.
Right, now, where is he?
2 Y's.
Why did I lose it? That's what I'm wondering. Right, Tommyy and...
Yeah, there he is.
MC _. search and see how it's taking a while to search. But I find if you delete one, maybe if I put the C in next, and then delete it. There you go. See, if you put the C in and then delete it, it then brings them up. It's weird. Right, now what do you have to press? I know what I've done.
Just go.
No, I'll go.
Click
Right.
and go. Yeah, with the cursor.
Right, I've got it now. So
there you go.
The high run for Tommyy was 28, Matt's was 57. And the points per turn, there's not a great deal of difference in them.
Yeah, so you are correct in your assessment that high run that Clarkey did was the big difference in the match.
Now look at the average run. There's not much in it, a ball.
Points per turn, it's very close.
Yeah. So, how the hell do you get back to the bracket? I just need to do that, don't I? Right. So now we know who Bedhead or Hairpig's opponent's going to be. It's going to be Matt. And then they'll have to probably wait, I would imagine, to the Stubb and Albinario match is set. So what's today's date?
Tommy says they had 2 matches. So they played before?
Ah,
they played
right.
In the winner's side?
They must have. I realised that 300 odd points.
Okay, so those stats were actually for both matches and combined.
Ah, right, there you
I
go.
don't think there's a way to do a single match in that stats thing. I think you're going to get both matches together.
Yeah, the thing is that Matt got his revenge because Tommyy put Matt to the one-loss side.
Oh, well.
He beat him 200-177.
Hugh, you missed your opportunity for building up the drama at the beginning of the match. We didn't know this was a revenge match.
I never even knew that. I wasn't even paying any attention to it. So, right. So today's date is the 6th, and Stubb and Albinario have got until the 15th, not February the 15th, March. Well, hang on a second here. No, it's March the 17th they've got until. But hopefully they'll get it done this week, because that way I can get it whatever time they're going to do the thing at. So that is it, chaps. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks Steve for joining. Thanks for Rob sticking his nose in. He appeared. He was there.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
And Semi-Pro bottled out. He never appeared. He disappeared. So whenever that match goes, we'll hopefully have news on it very soon. I haven't seen Stubb tonight because I'm going to get on to him to get it sorted, and then we'll be back for the big one at some point, hopefully in the week. So I'll bid you good night. I'm off for a coffee. Try and catch the end of the snooker if it's still on, and I'll bid you all good night. So take care and see you again soon.
Good night, guys.
See you later.
Later. Night, everybody.
No bar, no pinball machines, no bowling alleys, just pool, nothing else. No bar, no pinball machines, no bowling alleys, just pool.